What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. I hope you guys are doing well. We are already seeing the first competition between Call of Duty and xDefiant. xDefiant has its open session that will run until Friday, and Call of Duty, of course, answered that with saying, hey, you can only go till Friday. How about we do a free-to-play weekend for everybody? Seems like Call of Duty might be a little bit worried that xDefiant is going to steal some of their market share. And honestly, why wouldn't they be? I'm sure they have developers that have tried out xDefiant and have seen what the competition is doing and have realized, oh no, we're in trouble. Because everything that I've seen so far from xDefiant is a development team that is committed to delivering on their promises. They've said this is a love letter to first-person shooter arcades, and honestly, that's what it seems to be so far. The game plays and feels so wonderful, so polished right out the gates. And on top of that, it looks beautiful. Not all these boring grays and browns that Call of Duty loves to use. No, bright, vibrant colors on maps that flow and play properly, unlike what we've seen in recent years with Call of Duty. And the funny thing is these aren't remastered maps. These aren't reimagined maps. These are all brand new, built from the ground up, something that Call of Duty has not been able to do in years. Anything that they've done from the ground up is unfortunately awful in comparison to what they've done in the past, which is why they continuously bring back old maps from other games, because they have no original ideas to create good maps. And here in xDefiant, of course, we also have constant developer interactions. You have Mark Rubin on Twitter constantly reinforcing the ideas that his team is working tirelessly on the problems that are persisting within this game. And there are problems within this game. Let's call a spade a spade. You can't party up cross-platform. They're looking into it. The whole point of this open session, of course, is to stress test this game, figure out where the problems are, and that's why we're playing it. And that's why we've seen the servers already overloaded at this point in time, because so many people have gone and played it, and that has to worry Call of Duty as well. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see xDefiant match Call of Duty's free-to-play weekend and extend the open session onto the weekend, just so they can get more data from the players so that they can release this game in as perfect of a state as they possibly can. I'm not naive. I understand that this game is going to have problems at launch. I understand that it's going to have shortcomings. But I hope as this game evolves over time, it can build on the foundation that it already has, because I believe this is a very solid foundation. I believe this game is really fun, really good. And when I compare it to what Call of Duty is producing right now, I have to be honest, I'd far rather spend $90 for what we've already got here in xDefiant right now than what we got in Modern Warfare 2. Which raises the question, why is it that Modern Warfare 2 is still $70 or $90 if you're Canadian, when the game has been out already for 7 months, and on top of that, we know that there's a sequel coming this fall? The game has maybe 5 months of lifespan left before it's left behind. What's the purpose? What's the point here? Why would anybody go into it? And I'll tell you why. It's so that they can reap as much money up front from players, and then on top of it continuously sell to them. And that's why I'm ready to ditch the franchise altogether. I'm tired of the upfront investment and then the continued pestering to spend more money, just so that, again, none of that money gets reinvested to make the game better. Whereas here in xDefiant, there is no upfront cost. And on top of that, because there's no upfront cost, I'm willing to be more lenient. I'm willing to allow problems to persist within the game. The server problem we're experiencing right now, if it's 6 months down the road, yeah, I'll have a problem with it. But right now, and even at launch, if there's problems, I'm not going to be that upset, because the game is free to play. I understand there's going to be problems and they're going to work to fix them. The game's going to have room to evolve. It's not like Call of Duty where you're spending money up front and you're expecting a completed product at launch. That's been my biggest issue as of late with Call of Duty, is we're constantly getting fragmented releases where we're getting half the game at launch and then periodically getting 10% more as the game goes through its life cycle, only for it to be a complete game middle or end of its life cycle, just for a new Call of Duty come in and repeat the same life cycle. And I'm sick and tired of it. And that's why I'm pushing xDefiant so hard, because I feel it's going against that trend. And on top of it, it's got more polishing than anything Call of Duty's released in the last 4 years. Yes, there are server problems, but the server problems are fixable. Unlike Call of Duty, who's had the same server problems for the last 5 years, and they've neglected to do anything about it. The fact that xDefiant's developers, Mark Rubin in particular, have been so transparent through this entire process gives me more hope than anything Call of Duty is going to produce. Now, what I hope ends up happening is Call of Duty figures it out and looks at what xDefiant's doing and realizes this is the path forward and that we can get better games so we can have a healthier community. But right now, I see no reason why xDefiant does not destroy Call of Duty. The game looks and feels better than Call of Duty does. It feels more polished than Call of Duty. And frankly, it's just more fun to play. It's simpler. The simplicity of the entire game makes it for me. And part of the problem that Call of Duty's had is they tried to overcomplicate things over the last few years. They've made it more difficult to just hop in and play and enjoy yourself than ever before. And their UI bogging everything down doesn't help either. With xDefiant, it all is streamlined. It feels so easy to play, and on top of it, you have multiple ways to waste your time. You're going to have training courses, you have the practice facility, you have regular games, ranked and unranked at launch. There's so much more to do here, and we've only scratched the surface, and we're in an open session pre-complete build of this game. Like, I cannot commend xDefiant and Ubisoft enough for the experience they've been able to provide their user base here in an open beta. Like, and it's better than what we're getting in a full, complete release of Call of Duty for $70. Yes, there's no campaign. Yes, there's no Spec Ops. I understand that those have their own fan bases. But what built Call of Duty into what it is today is its 6v6 core gameplay, and they've been neglecting that for years. And it's nice to see a game come in and realize that there are shortcomings within this industry, within this community, and say, we're going to fix it. And that's what xDefiant's done. I cannot praise this game enough for what they're doing. So yes, selfishly, I hope that they do extend their open session so that they do cover the entirety of Call of Duty's free-to-play weekend. But it's only free-to-play for a weekend, and then please spend $70 or $90 if you're Canadian. Whereas with xDefiant, it's an open session today, and guess what? When the game launches, it's also going to be free-to-play. That's why xDefiant's going to win. That's why xDefiant is going to change the game when it comes to first-person arcade shooters. That's why they're staying true to their promise of this being a love letter, because that's what it feels like when you play it. Again, there's server problems that I've talked about, but those are going to get ironed out. There's hit detection issues. Those are going to get ironed out. There's other bugs. That's the whole point of this open session. It's not like Call of Duty where there's multiple bugs every time they do an update that they take weeks to fix and sometimes just neglect altogether. Heck, that game still has bugs in Search and Destroy that started way back at the launch of the game that they still haven't fixed and have completely neglected. I have full faith that Ubisoft will see bugs, hear our feedback, and will work tirelessly to fix them. Because that's what they're dedicated to do. I believe in Ubisoft as a developer. And I believe in this game to deliver what we've been waiting for from Call of Duty and from other games within this community for years. Is it perfect? No. And I don't think any game will ever be perfect. But I do believe that it is going to fit in nicely within this community and also light a fire under the behind of a couple other games that it's in competition with, so it can evolve the entire community and the entire genre instead of just itself. Now, of course, we still have a long way to go until xDefiant even releases, and we still have another day to completely enjoy this open session. So I'm not going to take any more of your time because I do want you guys to go play it. I do want you guys to provide feedback to the development team, but please be nice about it. I've seen some really mean and hateful tweets already, and there's just no need for that, guys. They're delivering something to us that is a love letter to this community, so please return the favor and be kind back. I get it that you died 18 times because the netcode and the connection sucked. Let it be, okay? It was one game. Let them work and fix and evolve. Okay, we as a community have to be patient with xDefiant, and in return, they'll reward us. So yeah, that's my little PSA at the end of this video. But I do want to know how you guys are enjoying it so far. Obviously, I read a ton of feedback from my first impressions video yesterday. I know that there are some people that really like it, some people that are already bored of it, and that's completely fine. And frankly, I think the game's going to grow and evolve over even the short time between this open session and its launch period. But if you want my consensus so far, I'm loving it. That arena map is unbelievable. I love all the different game modes. Hot Shot's probably my favorite right now, and I'll probably do a video talking about it in the future as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.